Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. A bonus edition of the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Torres. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a great day. And I'll tell you this. Do I have a special treat in store for you today? For the third year in a row, for the third September in a row, Tim Tebow joins the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. That is right. The legend joins me, and it's pretty straightforward. So he is obviously, we've done this for a few years. He's here on behalf of All-State Good Works team. It's a community service-based initiative in college football. So we talk a little bit about that. We also talk a lot a bit about college football itself in the state of the SEC. Who does Tim Tebow believe is the best team in the league right now? What's his early reaction to Tennessee? You want to hear a Gator say nice things about the Vols? You have come to the right place. By the way, Arch Manning, his thoughts on Arch Manning, if he has any advice for him. And of course, you couldn't get Tim Tebow on the show without talking a little Florida Gators. And I was actually impressed because he did not hold back on his thoughts on the state of the Florida Gators. So this is what I need you to do. Sit back, relax, enjoy Tim Tebow. By the way, if you are not subscribed to the Aaron Torres Pod, please make sure to do so. You can do it on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, make sure to do so. Also, make sure to rate and review the show. Go ahead, give us a quick 5 stars. And if you are not following on YouTube, if you are not subscribed on YouTube, click the button at the bottom of the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, just search Aaron Torres on YouTube, and you'll find all my content every single day. All right, joining me via Zoom, third straight year I have had the privilege of doing this here on behalf of All-State Good Works team, a community endeavor, etc. He is the Heisman Trophy winner. He, of course, you could see on ESPN, SEC Network. Tim Tebow needs no further introduction. Tim, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, Aaron, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Grateful to be able to have another conversation with you, and grateful to be able to represent All-State and the Good Works team and what these incredible young men are doing. So it's pretty cool.
Well, tell us a little bit about it. We've had you on a few years in a row, but this is a initiative that's very near and dear to your heart. Just tell us a little bit about the work that you continue to do with so many young college football players and athletes across America.
Well, it's not really what I'm doing. This is really about what they're doing, and what they're doing is pretty incredible. These 22 members of this year's team, they're awesome. I think this year rivals, honestly, any other year I could look at from the impact they're making off the field. Whether that is guys starting their own nonprofits, whether it's Gavin Sawchuk going to South Africa. I'm also biased. My wife's from South Africa.
Okay, so, sure.
Down in Joburg and ministering to foster kids, whether that is JJ Weaver, JJ Pegues, both of them are doing amazing things. Brew McCoy or Malachi Starks, and I named some of those because they're rivals on the field,
sure.
But yet you see what incredible things they're doing off of the field, and then also the creativity behind it, right? They're using NIL or matching grants or matching funds or all of the creativity, and I love it because, right, we need to show creativity in ministry, in impact, in nonprofit work, and I love it. Like, they're starting their own nonprofits, they're leveraging their NIL, they're leveraging opportunities for the sake of one more life, for the sake of one more happy child or one more smile, and I love it. It's so cool. So you just really see the heart posture behind it, but then also the creativity on top of that. And what does that lead to? A big impact.
Let me ask you, I think I asked you this last year, but you mentioned NIL. And I believe I actually asked you the same question last year. But, I think when we first started this, how was it going to be, all that good stuff? And there's obviously positives and negatives like any new rule that comes into place. But I think one thing, again, that you and I talked about at this time last year was that so many young people, the guys and girls that you have honored, but also many others that aren't part of the All-State Good Works team are using that NIL money to give back to the community, as you said, to maybe travel globally and make an impact. And I just think that's a really cool thing that even somebody like myself who covers this day in, day out, maybe didn't fully consider when we first kind of changed those NIL laws 3-4 years ago.
Well, I love it. I love that they're doing it. I love that they're having opportunities that some have probably never had before.
Sure.
And so that's really cool to use funds or even the ability to have an own foundation. I couldn't have a foundation when I was in
That's right.
college because of the NCAA. So they actually have the ability to start their own. And I just think it's so cool. And they're doing really creative things. So yes, it's opened up a whole new world for student athletes in a lot of different spaces, but one of them is the area of nonprofit ministry and helping and making a difference. And gosh, if there was any of them, that's one of the best and should be most important. So I think that's pretty cool.
Now, just tell me really quick. The other thing too that I think is so impressive with this, initiative is the fact that I think you mentioned Malachi Starks, Brew McCoy, guys that every college football fan in America knows. But then at the same time, you also have guys from D2, D3, NAIA. Just
Yep.
the go ahead. The floor is yours. But the breadth of not just again the guys that maybe making six figures
Oh,
at an SEC school. So go ahead.
that's right. I love it. So you do have some of them that are getting good NIL, and then you have some of them that are doing it just out of the willingness of their heart and with very little. And I love it that we have D2, D3, NAIA, and there's all the above. I also feel like I need to mention Coach Freeman from Notre Dame because he's done so much as well. And so, I love that we have big schools, big names. But you know what? To go make an impact, you don't have to be at a big school or have a big name. You just need to be willing to have a big heart and go care about someone. And so I love that. Thanks for bringing it up. It's awesome. I should have brought that up, but I love that because it's not just, oh, you're in the SEC or Big Ten. No, man. Where you're at, where your feet are, and where you've been placed, you can make a difference if you're willing, and they're willing.
Fantastic. Let's talk just a little bit of college football. You got a lot of interviews this morning and afternoon. First off, we're in we're in our 16 team SEC era right now. It's early. It's interesting, right? Like Georgia starts number one, struggle a little bit against Kentucky. Texas moves into number one, but they're now playing a backup quarterback. What have you made of this 16 team SEC so far? But is there one team that you think has stood out so far just early in this season and early in this new era that we're in?
Well, I'll just say I love it. I
I do
love the
too.
additions into the SEC. I love that Oklahoma and Texas are part of it. It feels right. It looks right. I mean, awesome brands, awesome teams, great athletes, incredible fan bases. All of that just feels right. And if you say there's one team, what team sticks out? To me, it's Texas. And it's not because are they better than Georgia right now? That's not my point. It's just I just expected that from Georgia. And I love what Sark is doing in recruiting and development, his ability to bring in all of these three quarterbacks. He lost Malik, but these two that he has, it's hard to name a better QB room in the country. Like I think Quinn I think it's hard to say if there's a better quarterback in the country who it is. Like you could put some up with him, but it's a joke how easy it is for him. Like it is like a walk in the park. Like throwing a 16-yard comeback it's a walk in the park for him. And I just love watching him play. And now you add Arch on top of that. Every opportunity he's had, he just makes the most of it. And also just love to mention how well I think he carries himself with the pressure and the hype. And he just carries himself with such poise. Yes, on the field, but off the field. I just really can't say enough about the way he's carried himself. So the team that sticks out, and also something that's important to mention, is they didn't get pushed around by Michigan. That's a physical Texas team, and Michigan is still very physical. And so when you have the quarterback play, when you have Isaiah Bond and some of these receivers, and you have this very fast team, and you're that physical at the line of scrimmage, you can do some special things with that.
Let me ask you, so I'm old enough to remember Tim Tebow having a documentary crew following him in high school before everybody had documentary crews following them in high school.
Oh no.
No. I was just curious. You mentioned Arch being able to handle himself. I mean, one, like, have you had any interaction with him just because of your background, your history in this sport? But then two, just to elaborate on, because, it seems like he has done, and his, obviously his family as well, but they've done a great job of blocking out the noise, not rushing the process. And like, here we are, it's year 2. You don't want an injury to a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback, but if he's out for just a couple weeks, Arch has obviously stepped in, and at least for, 3 quarters on Saturday, they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of interactions with him. A few times when I've been doing events in Austin, I've gone by and worked out in UT's weight room and trained there, and go see Sark and some of the other friends that I have there. And so I've been fortunate to meet him along the way, but no, you really like long interactions. But he just carries himself so well. And by the way, something else that's worth mentioning is, people mention, oh, he's also a good athlete, but they don't mention how hard he works in practice in the weight room. Like, this is someone that earned a lot of respect because he's a grinder in the weight room. And like, look at his catapult GPS numbers of sprinting. Like, he's a good athlete. Like,
Sure.
he's strong, built, physical, good athlete. And I think that is really important for the style of play that Sark runs, and that RPO and getting hit. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to do, and just proud of the way he carries himself.
I don't know if this is blasphemous to ask a former Florida Gator, but how much have you enjoyed watching Tennessee the last couple years, but especially this one? I'm sorry, I had to do it, man. They're awesome.
In fairness, Aaron, I love watching their offense. I love watching Nico play. I love the scheme. One of the big things about this scheme is when you get the first down, watch out, because they go so fast. The defense has no ability to disguise. You have to communicate exceptionally well. You have to be able to pass that communication off. You got to be able to handle switches, and you got to be able to balance instantly, without communication, what could be a run or a play action screen off of it. And they do that so fast, so well, that when they're running and they're hitting their short intermediate routes, and you get a first down, it's a dangerous offense. And I love the way Nico's running it. I mean, he's got the ability to make every throw, but most importantly for this offense, he's accurate. And it's a different offense this year than it was last year, and I love watching him play.
No, you're on a tight schedule here, but would be remiss if I didn't ask. Mentioned former Florida Gator, obviously not the start that anybody in Gainesville wants. You cover this for a living with the SEC. Well, what do we make of it, and what do you make of moving forward, getting it fixed, or next steps?
Well, it's definitely not the start that any Florida fan wanted, and I don't think it's just about the losses. That matters a lot. Like, Florida likes winning, but I think it's how the losses took place, especially the first one. Physically getting beat up, losing I would say, the competitive edge. Before, it used to be the 4 to 6 seconds of relentless effort and focus. Where was that 4 to 6 seconds of relentless effort and focus, right? You can lose a game and still make your fan base proud by the effort, the tenacity, right? Sometimes another team's just better, and it's easier for, I believe, fan bases to handle that. It's hard when you kind of get pushed around, especially by Miami.
Sure.
So I think that really matters. Like, offense and defensive line, like that competitiveness. Like, I think the fan base wants to see some fire playing with that. And if you lose that way, you lose that way. But hey, go out swinging.
Very good. Florida, Mississippi State this weekend. Obviously, must win for a team
Both
that's
teams.
for
Both
really for
teams.
both teams. Yeah. It wasn't a very good Saturday for Mississippi State as well last week. But Tim, I think you got to run. I think you got some other interviews to do. Where can fans find out more about the work that you're doing with Allstate, and that everybody is doing on behalf of Allstate Good Works team?
Yeah, they can go to espn.com/Allstate. And this is what we need everybody to do, Aaron, is we need them to go on there and go vote for the team captain, because the team captain will also receive the Allstate Werfel Trophy.
Okay.
And so it's really important. So people go vote, look at what these incredible young men have done, vote on who you think is the team captain because of the impact they're making in their communities or around the world. And because it's a really special award. It's something I've been fortunate to be a part of as well. And Danny's a big hero to me, and so it's an awesome award. So please go vote and take it seriously.
You said it was ESPN.com/Allstate. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. ESPN.com/Allstate. He's Tim Tebow. He's got to run. We appreciate the time. We'll see you on TV this weekend. We appreciate you, Tim.
Appreciate you, Aaron. Thanks, man.